I want you to pause whatever you're doing right now and imagine this. Your 9-year-old son is standing in the doorway, eyes wide with a mix of terror and hope, clutching his worn-out soccer cleats like they were his only lifeline. He's whispering, "Mom, please. I can't do this without Grandpa and Grandma there. They always make me feel brave." Your heart is shattering because you already know what comes next. The phone call to your parents, the long silence, and then those cold words that still echo in your nightmares. "We're sorry, honey. Your sister's meeting matters more today." If that hits you in the chest, if you've ever felt invisible in your own family, or watched your child learn too early that love can come with conditions, then hit that like button right now and subscribe to the channel. Stories like this remind us we're not alone, and together we'll keep sharing the real ones that heal hearts. Let's dive in. My name is Mia, and this is the story of the day my world cracked open and slowly, painfully, began to heal. It started on a crisp autumn morning last year. My son Tommy was 9, small for his age but with the biggest heart I'd ever known. He had been practicing for weeks for the regional youth soccer finals. Not just any game. This was the championship, the one where scouts from the academy might show up. Tommy wasn't the star player, but he was the glue. The kid who encouraged everyone else when they missed a shot, the one who stayed late after practice just to help the coach pick up cones. For months he'd told me, "Mom, if Grandpa cheers from the sidelines, I know I can score the winning goal. He always says I'm his champion." I believed him. My parents, Tommy's grandparents, had always been there for the big moments. Or so I thought. Life had been heavy lately. I was a single mom juggling 2 jobs after my divorce, and my daughter Emma, who was 14, was navigating high school with all its pressures. Emma had an important academic advisory meeting that same Saturday afternoon, the kind that could shape her high school track and maybe even scholarship opportunities. I understood why it mattered. What I didn't expect was how little room that left for Tommy. The night before the game, I called my parents. My voice was tired but hopeful. "Mom, Dad, can you watch Tommy in the morning and then come to his finals? I have to drop Emma at her meeting across town, and I won't make it back in time. He really needs you there. He's been talking about it non-stop." The pause on the other end felt eternal. Then my mother's voice, kind but firm in that way that always made me feel like a little girl again. "Mia, we love Tommy, you know that. But your sister's, Emma's, meeting is crucial. She's the one with the grades riding on this. We'll try to make the second half if we can, but we can't promise. Family has to prioritize what's important. Your sister's meeting matters." Those words landed like stones in my stomach. I hung up, staring at the phone as if it had betrayed me. Tommy was standing right there in the hallway, pretending not to listen, but I saw the way his shoulders slumped. He didn't cry, not then. He just nodded like he understood and went back to his room, cleats still in his small hands. That night I lay awake replaying every family gathering, every birthday, every holiday. Emma had always been the golden child, the straight-A student, the one who made my parents beam with pride. I was the middle child who got by, who became a young mom too soon, who chose love over the stable path they wanted for me. Tommy, my quiet, sensitive boy, had always been an afterthought in their eyes. "He's so energetic," they'd say, as if that excused missing his school plays or forgetting his birthday cards. I told myself it was just busy lives. Until that night, when the favoritism stared me in the face. The next morning was chaos. I rushed Emma to her meeting, my heart torn in two. Tommy sat in the passenger seat earlier, silent, kicking his feet against the floor mat. "It's okay, Mom," he said finally, voice cracking just a little. "I'll play my best anyway." I dropped him at the field with a quick hug and a promise I'd be back soon, but guilt clawed at me the entire drive. When I finally arrived at the game, late, breathless, Emma's meeting running long, Tommy was already on the bench, head down. The score was tied, but his team looked discouraged. And my parents, nowhere in sight. I ran to the sidelines, calling his name. His face lit up for a split second when he saw me, but the disappointment was etched deep. He played anyway. He ran harder than I'd ever seen, diving for balls, shouting encouragement even when he got elbowed. In the final minutes, with the game on the line, Tommy got the ball. He dribbled past two defenders, looked toward the empty spot where his grandparents usually stood, and kicked. The ball sailed wide. The whistle blew. They lost by 1 goal. Tommy didn't scream or throw his cleats. He walked off the field, straight into my arms, and sobbed like his heart had broken in half. They didn't come, Mom. They said Emma was more important. Am I not important too? I held him there on the sidelines as parents packed up around us, the autumn wind cutting through us both. Tears streamed down my face. In that moment, every buried resentment from my own childhood came rushing back. Times I felt second best, times I smiled through the pain so my kids wouldn't see it. But Tommy saw everything. He always had. We drove home in silence at first. Emma met us at the door, excited about her meeting, oblivious until she saw her brother's red eyes. "What happened?" she asked. I explained, gently. For the first time, I didn't soften the truth to protect anyone's feelings. Emma's face fell. She looked at Tommy and then at me, and something shifted in her eyes. "I didn't know it was that big for him," she whispered. That evening, I did something I had never done. I called my parents again. This time, I didn't ask. I told. My voice shook, but it didn't break. "You chose today to show Tommy that his dreams are smaller than Emma's schedule. He's 9 years old. He needed you, and I needed you to see him. If this is how family works in our house, then we need to change it, starting now." The conversation was raw. My mother cried. My father tried to defend their decision with excuses about balance and opportunities. But I stood firm. I told them about the years of small dismissals, the way Tommy had started doubting his worth. I reminded them that love isn't a limited resource, it grows when shared equally. For the first time in years, they really listened. No interruptions, no buts, just silence, and then quiet apologies. The resolution didn't come overnight. It took weeks of honest talks, family dinners where we all shared vulnerabilities, and deliberate choices. My parents started showing up differently, attending Tommy's practices, asking about his favorite players, planning one-on-one time that wasn't squeezed between Emma's events. Emma, to her credit, began including her brother more, helping him with homework and even coming to a few games herself. She told me later, "I never wanted to be the reason he felt small." Tommy's next big game was a month later, a local tournament. This time, the whole family was there. My parents arrived early, holding a handmade sign that read, "Tommy's champion." When he scored the tying goal, the roar from our little section was deafening. After the match, Tommy ran to his grandparents first, burying his face in their arms. "I knew you'd come," he said, smiling through happy tears. Watching them, I felt the pieces of our family slowly mending. It wasn't perfect. No family ever is, but we chose presence over perfection. We chose to see each child as equally worthy of celebration. If you're watching this and nodding along because you've lived something similar, whether you're the overlooked kid, the exhausted parent, or the one who didn't realize the impact of your choices, know this: change is possible. It starts with one honest conversation, one brave stand for the ones who need us most. Our children are watching how we love, how we prioritize, and how we show up. Make sure the message they receive is that every dream matters, every heart is seen. Tommy still plays soccer. He's grown taller, more confident, and he knows without a doubt that his place in this family is secure. And me, I've learned that protecting my kids sometimes means teaching the older generation new ways to love. If this story touched you, if it reminded you to call your child or your parent and say, "I'm here," then please smash that like button. Subscribe for more real-life stories that heal and inspire, and drop a comment sharing your own experience. Your support keeps these stories coming. Remember, in a world quick to divide attention, choose to show up fully, for every child, every time. Tommy taught me that, and now, I'm passing it on to you. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one.